tonight. President's allies reap big in ambassadorial appointments as President appoints 16 women as ambassadors and deputy ambassadors. Government deploys boats and tools to fight bandits in Baringo who have since displaced over 2,000 families, with 13 people having been shot dead.
Tuweke kambi pale Kosile ili wananchi waweze kurudi katika sehemu hiyo.
And so that we can drive the progress of Kenya, which leaves no citizen, no community, no side behind.
Also tonight, government and opposition failed to agree on how to deal with the cost of living question as the president and the opposition chief received the NADCO report.
The issues contained in this document are not Azimio or Kenya Kwanza issues. These are Kenyan issues. They are our aspirations as the people of Kenya.
Well, good evening. It is 9 p.m. East African time. My name is Eric Munene. Our sign language interpreter is Catherine Simaloi. Now, President William Ruto has announced the appointment of 16 women as ambassadors and deputy ambassadors to various countries across the world. Now, of the 16 appointments, 10 will serve as ambassadors, while the remaining 6 will be deputy ambassadors. Now, the president, who was speaking in Embu County during the International Women's Day celebration, said the appointments are in honor of the contribution of women in the leadership of the country. Have a look.
President William Ruto has announced the appointment of 16 women leaders to ambassadorial positions in various countries across the world. Speaking at the Moi Stadium in Embu, Ruto said the appointments are in honor of the contribution of women in the leadership of the country. Of the 16 appointments, 10 will serve as ambassadors, while the remaining 6 will be deputy ambassadors.
Nataka niwatangazie kina mama hapa kwamba leo asubuhi, kwa sababu ya heshima ya kina mama wa taifa letu la Kenya, leo asubuhi nimewapatia kina mama 10 kuwa mabalozi wetu katika nchi mbalimbali ya dunia.
According to Ruto, the appointment of the 16 women to take on the prestigious diplomatic roles was a gift to women as they marked International Women's Day. The head of state revealed the government would amend the constitution to allow the inclusion of women in governance and enhance gender parity.
Katiba ya Kenya inasema ya kwamba wamama wapatiwe nafasi sawa na wanaume katika uongozi wa taifa letu la Kenya. Na sababu hiyo tumekuwa tukijaribu kubadilisha katiba ndio kina mama wapate nafasi yao katika uongozi wa taifa letu la Kenya.
At the same time, President Ruto said the government has disbursed 942 million shillings to 1.4 million women in 53,000 groups that are already accessing affordable financial facilities through the Women Enterprise Fund. Several leaders also emphasized the importance of gender parity so as to create equality.
Hawa wa mama ndio Kenya. Hawa ndio wenye uchumi wa Kenya. Hawa ndio wenye elimu ya Kenya. Hawa kina mama ndio wanasongesha taifa yetu mbele.
Kisewa Emory, TV47.
Now, the government has deployed 2 armored personnel carriers and a contingent of GSU officers to respond to insecurity in Baringo North that has displaced over 2,000 families, with 13 people having been shot dead. The move now raising questions on the government's capability to deal with bandits as it comes just a year after another security operation was launched.
Scenes that have now become synonymous with Baringo County, residents fleeing their homes affecting other things like education, resulting to humanitarian crisis. The scourge of banditry continues to wreak havoc in the area, which has seen 13 people lose their lives since the beginning of the year.
Tulisema siku moja, bandit has no space in our country. Na na repeat. Na najua kwamba watoto ambao wako hapa ni wale ambao wamechukua njia mzuri ya maisha.
The government has been on the receiving end, with the leaders and a section of residents faulting their government for failing to flush out bandits despite an ongoing security operation in the area.
Sasa serikali tunaomba watuangalie kabisa sehemu hii yetu ya Baringo, sababu amani kabisa imesoroteka na mbaya sana.
In February last year, the government mounted a multi-agency security operation in the area involving the Kenya Defence Forces, the National Police Reservist, and the General Service Unit, among others. Despite this, scores have lost their lives. And today, the government has deployed 2 armored personnel carrier and a contingent of GSU to respond to insecurity in Baringo North. According to Kuto, the presence of GSU will ensure residents who flee away return back to their homes, and reopening of learning institution after 8 schools were closed and 13 affected due to insecurity.
Tumetenga sehemu ya GSU camp, tunaendelea kujenga ile camp Kosile, na hivi leo maofisa wataweza kuingia pale ili waweze kuweka usalama katika area hiyo.
Meanwhile, Baringo County Governor Benjamin Cheboy, who toured the area, called for humanitarian support to victims of banditry, outlining that there is food scarcity and lack of medical support.
I want to make a special appeal for those institutions that are supporting people who are in distress. Watusaidie na humanitarian aid.
Nataka niombe taifa na mataifa na waizani, partners of development, partners of humanitarian aid, please come and help the people of Baringo North here who are completely displaced.
Nelson Mwereza, TV 47.
Well, thank you, Nelson Moreza, for that. Now, former IEBC CEO Ezra Chiloba is among 44 individuals appointed by the president to serve as envoys across the world. It was a day of heavy reaping for the president's loyalists, some of who were also appointed chief administrative secretaries before they were blocked by the court. Paul Munio with that.
In a day of reaping big by President William Ruto's allies, former Kisii County Deputy Governor Joash Maangi has been appointed as Kenya's High Commissioner to Uganda. Under the same category, Manoa Esipisu, Kenya's ambassador to the United Kingdom, will be replaced by Catherine Karemu upon the approval by the parliament. Former nominated senator under the ANC party Petronila Were has been appointed to serve as Kenya's deputy ambassador in Ethiopia. David Kiplangat Kerich, on the other hand, has been appointed to take the helm as Kenya's ambassador to the United States, a position currently held by Ambassador Lazarus Amayo. The former Director General of the Communications Authority of Kenya, Ezra Chiloba, has also been nominated by the government to serve as the Consul General in Los Angeles, USA. Under the category of permanent representatives, Gertrude Angote has been nominated to represent Kenya at the United Nations Environment Program. Erastus Lokale will present Kenya at the United Nations in the USA. The 43 names of the appointees will be submitted to the National Assembly to be considered and approved. Paul Munio, TV 47.
To some more changes now, President William Ruto has made changes in the military, appointing new commanders for the Army and Navy. The new changes taking effect today and made in line with the Kenya Defence Forces Act. The President promoted Major General Charles Muriru Kahariri to the rank of, who will be taking over from Lieutenant General, and was also appointed as the commander of the Kenyan Army. whose term has ended after 42 years in service. Also promoted was General David Kimayo Tarus to the rank of Lieutenant General and appointed as the new commander of the Kenya Army, taking over from Lieutenant General Thomas Njoroge Ng'ang'a. Have a look. So let me take that again. President William Ruto has made changes in the military, appointing new commanders for the Army and Navy. In the new changes taking effect today and made in line with the Kenya Defence Forces Act, the president promoted Major General Charles Muriru Kahariri to the rank of Lieutenant General, appointing him Vice Chief of Defence Forces. Lieutenant General Muriru successes Lieutenant General John Amaina, whose term has ended after 42 years in service. Also promoted was General David Kimayo Tarus to the rank of Lieutenant General and appointed as the new commander of the Kenya Army, taking over from General Peter Mbogu Njiru, who served for 39 years. Before his appointment, Lieutenant General Tarus served as the Deputy Army Commander, designated him as the Vice Chancellor of the National Defence University of Kenya. Major General Longiro was the commander of the Kenya Navy. Promoted to was Brigadier Thomas Njoroge Ng'ang'a to Major General and new commander of the Kenya Navy. Brigadier Njoroge was previously based on commander at the Kenya Navy base in Manda. The changes, among others, were made on recommendations from the Defence Council chaired by Defence CS Aden Duale. Well, we sincerely apologize for that technical hitch. Now, President William Ruto has, on the recommendation of the Judicial Services Commission, suspended Environment and Land Court Judge Mohamed Kulo and appointed a 7-member team or tribunal to inquire into his conduct. The President, through Gazette Notice number 2536, dated 8th of March, that is today, set the tribunal that is to be chaired by Appeal Judge Patrick Kiage. The suspension comes just days after the Chief Justice, that is Martha Koome-led JSC, submitted to the President 4 petitions seeking Justice Kulo's removal on grounds of incompetence, gross misconduct, violation of the Constitution, and breach of the Judicial Service Code of Conduct and Ethics Regulations 2020. Now, the judge was also accused of inordinately delaying or failing to deliver rulings or judgments in 116 matters. The 7-member tribunal consists of the chair, Appeal Judge Patrick Kiage, Honorable Justice Margaret Njoki Mwangi, Honorable Justice Anthony Charo Mrima, Jinaro Kipkemoi Kibet, Wanjiru Mwariri, Rukia Abdinasir Mohamed, and Charles Mulila. Moving on, the cost of living issue has yet again proved to be a hard nut to crack, with the government and opposition seemingly failing to agree on how to deal with the cost of living question. The National Dialogue Committee has officially presented its report to President William Ruto and Azimio One Kenya leader Raila Odinga. The presentation comes a day after a joint House committee agreed on the timelines to issue the report to both houses within the next 45 days for the House to adopt and debate.
Introduction, the agenda.
Just a day after the Joint Justice and Legal Affairs Committee commenced its sittings on the process of adopting the NADCO report with a timeline of only 45 days. Today,
President of the press? Not yet.
President William Ruto and Azimio leader Raila Odinga have officially received the NADCO report. President William Ruto insisting that the report will steer the country forward, stating that the country has a chance to resolve the controversial two-third gender rule.
Teething on a problematic area on the matter of two-thirds gender rule. So hopefully we will be able this time round, and I am very confident that this time round we will get it right, and the women of Kenya will take their place of leadership appropriately in the Republic of Kenya, because we are all the poorer if women have not taken up their position in the leadership of Kenya.
On the other hand, Azimio leader Raila Odinga termed the NADCO report as a big milestone to curing the challenges which arise after every election cycle, in what he says that the report has to be implemented as it is, urging the parliament to expedite the process.
Our position is that the report, including the various legislative proposals attendant to it, should be implemented without any alterations. And I want to repeat that our position is that the report, including the various legislative proposals attendant to it, should be implemented without alterations. We also feel strongly that the remaining processes be fast-tracked in Parliament.
On the key issue, which is cost of living, which has since remained unresolved, Azimio boss Raila Odinga says that they will keep pushing the government, with President William Ruto giving an assurance that he will rally Kenya Kwanza Brigade to support the process in Parliament.
Anticipation of the bills, consequent bills upon the report, which has happily been adopted. We want to suggest that we do not take all the time. You can do public participation and then you get a lot of problems coming out of it. So fast-tracking it and then getting the final product.
Lessons, and Your Excellency, as you have rightly told us, the best gift that we can gift to those families who lost their loved ones, those who lost property, is to ensure that never again in this country shall violence become part of our political discourse, and that we shall always endeavor as a nation to speak with each other and resolve our issues amicably.
The Joint Justice and Legal Affairs Committee has a mandate to propose either a parliamentary route or a referendum to enact 8 proposed bills to implement the NADCO report. Elizabeth Mutuku, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, as the world commemorates International Women's Day, a group of women from Nairobi's Mathare area came together to celebrate and share their stories of resilience as they recount their harrowing tales of different forms of torture, many being widows who lost their husbands to extrajudicial killings. Our very own Elizabeth Atieno sat down with some of the survivors who who have suffered different forms of torture and filed this following report.
8th March every year, over 3.9 billion women in the world come together to amplify their voices calling for gender equality. But in Nairobi's informal settlement of Mathare, the day was marked with a mood of silence, pain and sorrow as these women with broken hearts came together to fill the cracks with a word of encouragement as they seek to forget the pain of losing their loved ones. This is Omboy, who painfully recounts the day her life took a drastic turn at 12 p.m. on the 21st of February 2017 when her late husband Christopher Maina was shot dead by police officers.
Wenye walinipeleka mochari nilimuona na nikahakikisha ukweli amekufa. Alikuwa amepigwa risasi mingi. Juu mimi niliona risasi karibu 6, but alikuwa na mashimo juu hata mguu alikuwa amerusha mkono kwa mfuko, amebendisha mguu. Hapo pia palikuwa na risasi.
Winnie Achieng is also a widow who lost her husband in 2019. Achieng has lost hope in acquiring justice and is now forced to move on with her life, but she tells us the gap her husband left in her heart is yet to be sealed.
Nikapigiwa simu, my partner has been killed by the police. Ikakuwa mistaken identity, ikakuwa aliekelewa, alikuwa mwizi. Tukasukuma tu maisha.
Na hiyo kitu inaniumanga sana sababu ni mtoto wa miaka 19 na alipigwa risasi 10 na I hope justice itafanyika.
These women now feel they have lost their value as women as they have been reduced to widows, and some have lost their title as mothers due to extrajudicial killings allegedly perpetrated by police officers. The Independent Medical Legal Unit, IMLU, now says Kenya is yet to attain gender equality as the United Nations reveals that there is an alarming lack of financing with a staggering $360 billion annual deficit in spending on gender equality measures.
Wale ambao wamedhulumiwa zaidi na wale tumepoteza is the people, young men between the ages of 19 and 35. 73% ndio wameuawa.
This year's International Women's Day theme has been on investing in women with a key focus to prevent over 342 million women and girls living in poverty by 2030. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47, Nairobi.
Well, thank you, Elizabeth Atieno, for that. Now, police officers who have stayed in their stations for more than 3 years, effective today, are going to be transferred. Interior Cabinet Secretary, that is Professor Kithure Kindiki, has said that this has breeded conflict of interest and has derailed the efforts in fighting illegal brews in the country. Sheila Chelangat reports on these new raft of changes.
All the officers from all the agencies who have served in one station for 3 years and above will be transferred starting today morning.
This directive is to be implemented immediately and is intended to mitigate conflict of interest among police officers in their line of duty.
There are characters there who have stayed in one police station, junior officers, for 9 years, 15 years, 7 years, 8 years. They are the ones who have entered into the unholy alliance with some of the people who are destroying the country, and they are the ones even who arrange protection fees.
This conflict of interest is said to have derailed the fight against illegal brews in Kirinyaga County, where about 20 people died after consuming the liquor.
The 3-year transfer policy must be implemented without fail, and that exercise begins today.
So far, a nationwide crackdown on illegal brews has begun, and CS Kindiki vows that this time the government will crack the whip harder than before.
These are not the things you've been doing in the past, where you have an operation for 2-3 months or 6 months, and then we go back to settings. This one will not stop. That's what I thought I should clarify. It's continuous.
In a series of security meetings this week, Kindiki has urged security officers to remain unwavering in this fight.
This is purely a law enforcement matter. And therefore, we do not expect any reference whatsoever to political issues.
Today, CS Kindiki visited Kiambu, Murang'a, Kirinyaga, Nyeri and Meru counties. Sheila Chelangat for TV47.
Some politics now. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has moved in to silence his critics, some of who are jubilating over President William Ruto's remarks that UDA will field a woman running mate in future elections. The Deputy President, speaking during the Women's Day celebrations in Embu County, clarified the President's statement that it will only take effect after the President, that is William Ruto, retires from active politics. Apollo Kamau with that.
President William Ruto's succession triggered by his remark to make women running mates and presidential candidates in the UDA party reignited the succession debate, with Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua saying the proposal will only take effect after the president serves his term in office.
Lakini wengine unajua haku wanaelewa. Rais alisema ataniongelesha, tuwapange pale mbele tukimaliza mambo yetu. Sasa wengine walikuwa nafikiria ni saa hii. So lazima sasa mngoje kwanza nimsaidie rais kwa kipindi chake. Ikifika kutamatisha hapo, rais mwenyewe atatuongoza, atatuonesha vile tutapanga hawa mama na vile mambo yao itakuwa sawa sawa.
The Deputy President was however quick to point out the President consulted him on the issue and endorsed the idea, which is part of the larger agenda to comply with the 2/3 gender rule for leadership and political positions.
Na vile rais ulisema jana ni kweli, tumeongea na tutaendelea kuongea vile hawa kina mama huko mbele watashirikishwa katika serikali kuu wakiwa na nyadhifa ambaye iko na uzito, kwa sababu hawa kina mama wamejionyesha ya kwamba wako na umaarufu na wanaweza kupewa nafasi ya kuongoza.
Wapi shangwe na vigelegele?
Gachagua's statement comes weeks after Ruto silenced supremacy battles in the Mount Kenya region, pitting the Deputy President against young leaders from the region who endorsed Kiharu MP Ndindi Nyoro as a possible running mate to Ruto in 2027 and a presidential candidate in 2032. Council of Governors Chairperson Anne Waiguru has asked Ruto to endorse a woman for the 2032 State House race, saying women will back Ruto in 2027.
I support my president, yake ni 10 straight. Hiyo tulisema, si ndio? Lakini tumemwambia akitoka tu hivi, hatumpati promise ya mtu mwingine. Tutakutana kule, kina mama watakuwa wamejipanga sawa sawa.
Former Kitui Governor Charity Ngilu made history in 1997 when she became the first female presidential candidate to face off with the late President Daniel Moi under her Social Democratic Party, but lost in the poll after she came 5th. Apol Kamau, TV47.
Now moving on, Ushiriki Wema patron Tesi Musalia, accompanied by the First Lady of Uasin Gishu County, Salina B, earlier today in Uasin Gishu County, launched an infant and preterm babies unit and program dubbed Okoa Malaika. The Okoa Malaika initiative targets to distribute infant incubators to all 47 counties to benefit expectant mothers who give birth to premature babies and enhance the prospect of survival of their infants.
It's fitting that we come together in this vibrant community to embark on an initiative that uplifts and empowers both infants and women, ensuring that every individual has the opportunity to reach their full potential.
Malaika initiative will significantly enhance the survival prospects of children born prematurely, allowing them to thrive into infancy and eventually adulthood. Every baby's life is precious, and it's our collective duty to provide these children with the opportunity to grow and mature. The incubators we receive today will be instrumental in giving these children a fighting chance to live to adulthood and make a positive impact on the lives of others.
Welcome to the world of sports. The Dandora Stadium is now open to the public after it was officially unveiled by Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja earlier today. The 15,000 capacity facility cost the taxpayer over 270 million shillings since the first foundation was laid in 2019. The stadium, which has an artificial turf, will host some of the Football Kenya Federation matches, Premier League matches, fixtures for other divisions and local tournaments.
Ya kwamba hatimaye tumeweza kukamilisha stadium yetu ya Dandora. Hii ni mahali itapatia nafasi vijana wetu wengi, timu zetu nyingi na community nzima ya Embakasi North na pande hii yote ya Nairobi through the activities that we will have here. Starting from the first year, vile tulitoa ahadi ya kwamba tutakamilisha Dandora to international standard, we've been able to complete and conclude this stadium at 270 million shillings za watu wa Nairobi. Malizia, as a county government, we are keen to conclude on other stadia. Tumeanza Woodley, tunaingia City Stadium ambayo tumeanza phase 1 na phase 2. Na juzi rais akizindua Talanta Center, nilimwambia na nikamwomba ile pesa ya sports fund pia tusaidie Nairobi County tufanye viwanja zaidi hapa Nairobi County.
Now, the Kenya Commercial Bank Football Club got back to winning ways in the Kenya Federation Premier League earlier today. The bank has secured a hard-fought 3-2 win over Shabana FC at Kenyatta Stadium in Machakos County. KCB are now placed in 9th position on the standings with 33 points, while Shabana remain in the relegation zone with 19 points. Action continues tomorrow, and the main attraction is the clash between champions Gor Mahia and Bandari FC at Mbaraki Stadium in Mombasa County. On Sunday, FC Leopards will have a date with Tusker FC in Machakos.
Kevin Okumuchumzi. Kama mfumo umebadilika chanzo Nyango, Kevin Okumuchumzi analeta ndani uzuri.
Na safari hii katika Mfahamu Kiongozi tutakuletea viongozi aina mbalimbali.
Nikuwe na Nisani kama 10 na pia nikuwe menua minibus. Minibus niko niwa.
Kushinda unaangalia simu ya mzee. Soma Biblia ama ingia kwa washroom ujisugue. Mpaka nimetoa hivi.
I don't know whether any of my children would want to get into the political field. Sijajua bado.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30 kuendelea.
Join us on a journey through the concrete jungles and rising skylines, where every beam, every nail tells a story of progress and vision.
In every aspect of life, you have to look at several dynamics.
From groundbreaking.
Nowadays with the tech, you can check on different websites or you check online and you can see some inspiration. So at least that one would be a direction already. I'll know like what kind of style you're going for.
To finishing touches, witness the dedication of the hard-working teams who bring these ambitious dreams to reality. The Realtor, Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m.
Na safari hii katika Mfahamu Kiongozi tutakuletea viongozi aina mbalimbali.
nikuwe na nisani kama 10 na pia nikuwe menua minibus. Minibus nikoniwa.
Kushinda unaangalia simu ya mzee, soma Biblia ama ingia kwa washroom ujisugue mpaka nimetoa hivi.
I don't know whether any of my children would want to get into the political field. Sijajua bado.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30 kuendelea.
Join us on a journey through the concrete jungles and rising skylines, where every beam, every nail tells a story of progress and vision.
In every aspect of life, you know, you have to look at several dynamics.
From groundbreaking.
Nowadays with the tech, you can check on different websites or you check online and you can see some inspiration. So at least that one would be a direction already. I'll know like what kind of style you're going for.
To finishing touches, witness the dedication of the hard-working teams who bring these ambitious dreams to reality. The Realtor, Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m.
Na safari hii katika Mfahamu Kiongozi tutakuletea viongozi aina mbalimbali.
Nikuwe na nisani kama 10 na pia nikuwe menua minibus. Minibus nikoniwa.
Kushinda unaangalia simu ya mzee, soma Biblia ama ingia kwa washroom ujisugue mpaka nimetoa hivi.
I don't know whether any of my children would want to get into the political field. Sijajua bado.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30 kuendelea.
Join us on a journey through the concrete jungles and rising skylines, where every beam, every nail tells a story of progress and vision.
In every aspect of life, you know, you have to look at several dynamics.
From groundbreaking.
Nowadays with the tech, you can check on different websites or you check online and you can see some inspiration. So at least that one would be a direction already. I'll know like what kind of style you're going for.
To finishing touches, witness the dedication of the hard-working teams who bring these ambitious dreams to reality. The Realtor, Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m.
Na safari hii katika Mfahamu Kiongozi tutakuletea viongozi aina mbalimbali.
Nikuwe na nisani kama 10 na pia nikuwe menua minibus. Minibus nikoniwa.
Kushinda unaangalia simu ya mzee, soma Biblia ama ingia kwa washroom ujisugue mpaka nimetoa hivi.
I don't know whether any of my children would want to get into the political field. Sijajua bado.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30 kuendelea.
Join us on a journey through the concrete jungles and rising skylines, where every beam, every nail tells a story of progress and vision.
In every aspect of life, you have to look at several dynamics.
From groundbreaking.
Nowadays with the tech, you can check on different websites or you check online and you can see some inspiration. So at least that one would be a direction already. I'll know like what kind of style you're going for.
To finishing touches, witness the dedication of the hard-working teams who bring these ambitious dreams to reality. The Realtor, Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m.
Na safari hii katika Mfahamu Kiongozi tutakuletea viongozi aina mbalimbali.
Nikuwe na nisani kama 10 na pia nikuwe menua minibus. Minibus nikoniwa.
Kushinda unaangalia.
You won't cry.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Now, it is Friday and as always, it is Disruptive Fridays. Now, as the world celebrates International Women's Day, tonight we shine a spotlight on 2 remarkable women making waves in the tech industry. We have Margaret Wairimu, the founder of Meira Education Solutions, who stands out as, who stands out as one of the founders who claimed victory in the ICT White Box Strathmore Bootcamp program last year. Margaret's dedication and innovation in the education sector has garnered widespread recognition as she leverages technology to transform learning experiences. Then we also have Mary Usaji, who's a project manager at ICP Hub Kenya. Mary's expertise as a Web3 front-end developer coupled with her background in business development shows her great skills in the tech world. She also has over 5 years of experience in business management and more than 2 years in crafting secure, user-friendly and responsive web interfaces. Welcome to the studio. Did I get that right? That
yes,
introduction?
You did. Yes, you did your best. Yeah, you did. Thank you.
So, if you will be telling us what exactly you do, I'm sure you're trailblazers, trendsetters in the different fields that you are in. But first, I want us to go through some few highlights, or rather statistics on the space of women in technology. As you can see that on the screen, African women in tech. Well, we have an organization known as African Women in Technology, AWIT. The organization is committed to bridging the gender gap in the tech industry across Africa, and their mission is to empower and celebrate women in technology by providing quality tech education, mentorship, and access to opportunities. They also aim to train 10,000 girls in 10 African countries. And I'll be telling you, the viewer, why we are going through these statistics. Then we have Women Who Build Africa. That is a global community supporting the growth of women in Africa's tech ecosystem. WWBA facilitates connections through online communities, events, mentorship programs, and investment-bearing initiatives. Well, we also have this fact. It's about representation and participation. While the representation of women in tech remains below par, there has been noticeable progress. Factors like increased access to education, mobile technology, digital platforms, and recognition of diversity and inclusion contribute to their participation. And of course, we have the last one here. There's the Pink Codes Africa that is born out of a need to equip women with tech skills. The initiative aims to develop the largest community of women in tech across Africa by providing training and exposure, and they also prepare women for industry opportunities. All these organizations, as you've seen, there, equip women with the right tools, the right knowledge to make it in the tech world. And I want to start with you, Margaret. You are in a career that is largely believed, and I'm using the word believed very deliberately. It is believed to be male-dominated. How have you managed to navigate through the challenges that you've met as a woman in tech?
Well, for me, I think what I can say is that I'm not only in tech, but I'm in education.
Yeah.
Right? And entering in the space as an entrepreneur was very helpful because how it started is to build a platform where parents can discover schools for their kids. And that's something that we're good at. Mm-hmm. But that said, it's everybody. Everybody I hire, every developer, everyone is a man. Mm-hmm. So I run a company where I'm the only woman. Mm-hmm. So it's been interesting just to try and manage those relationships. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So can you share with us that pivotal moment, the moment that you realized you can leverage tech to bridge the gap between learners and educators?
Well, for me, it was a personal struggle at home because now I had a daughter who had delayed speech. Okay. And in searching for a school that could be able to cater to her, I just couldn't find one. And I didn't understand why I couldn't find a solution just by searching through my phone and finding schools which have options. So I decided, why not build the solution myself?
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Over to you, Mary. What inspired you to get to that space?
Freedom. I wanted freedom because I was watching people who are working in tech. They could work from home, work from anywhere in the world, and they're still making income. So I wanted that and had to follow the path to lead me to that. And I got the freedom. Right now I can work from anywhere in the world. Yes.
You've got the freedom?
Yes,
but I'm sure there's some challenges.
I can work from anywhere in the world, yes.
You have some challenges as well?
Yes, I do. Actually, when it came to choosing the path on which I want to take on tech, it was really challenging because you don't know, tech is diverse, it's really wide, so you don't know exactly which path to take, so you have to try different things, you learn different things, and it's not like so easy. You might even give up because it comes a lot of thinking and creativity and just going to places where you meet in a room with full of men and they're talking about these big, huge terms that you've never heard of, and you're like, oh my God, this is just so, it's difficult. And then at some point you get to a point that you experience imposter syndrome. You don't want to be out there and talk about what you do because you feel like you're not good enough. But in real sense, you just have to put what you have out there, Yes.
And you're in the field of Web3 and you're using a technology known as internet computer?
Yes.
You kindly take us through in very simple terms, kindly.
So internet computer, we deal with blockchain. Blockchain is Web3. Web3, like you're moving from Web 2 to Web 3. So blockchain is the current technology that we're using to develop applications. And as everyone knows, blockchain is very secure, it's very fast, and it can be trusted by it's accessible, like it's centralized. So this is something that you're moving into. That is what internet computer is doing currently. So internet computer, they have their own blockchain that we currently are taking in developers in Kenya and training them to build applications on the blockchain, which will be very secure and fast and very decentralized, yes. Yeah.
And Margaret, you're in a very interesting space, an intersection between education and technology. What do you think is the future of the education with technology evolving very fast? We've heard, Mary has explained about ICP, internet computer, Web3, blockchain technology and all that. How do you envision the future of education in such a space?
I think it can only get better. And I think we're also discussing with Mary in the waiting area is the thing with technology and education is that if you remain away from the field for a year, when you come back, everything you knew is irrelevant. You know, so you have to constantly keep learning. So so technology and education just go hand in hand. You have to keep, it's like being a pilot. You always have to keep on going to renew your license because if you just relax with the essentials that you have, they'll become irrelevant very quickly. So you have to keep learning. You have to keep learning.
All right. You know, I'm asking these questions on behalf of the viewer, but I don't want to ask them, to ask you all the questions. I want you to hear straight from some of them. And I think my director is ready with the questions from some of our viewers.
Okay, hi. My name is Elizabeth. There are some few questions that I have. One, how do you stay motivated despite any challenge you face? And the second question is, what advice would you give to fellow women who aspire to thrive in innovation and technology? And the third question is, how do you envision the future of women in innovation and technology?
Where do you see it?
My name is Barbara. I'd like to ask, how do you stay motivated despite any challenges you face? And what advice would you give to fellow women who aspire to thrive in innovation, technology sector based on your experiences and successes? And the third one, how do you envision the future of women in innovation and technology? And what steps do you believe are crucial for achieving gender equality and representation in these fields? Thank you. My name is Jane from Naivasha. My question is, how do you stay motivated despite any challenges that you face? The second question, what advice would you give to the fellow women who inspire and thrive in innovation and technology sector based on your own experiences and success? Third one, how do you envision the future of the women in innovations and technology, and what step do you believe are crucial achieving genders and equality and representation in these fields?
Repeat that third question again. Sio kama mtu anasoma. Nenda faster so that
some of our viewers, they are very interesting questions, but what I've picked out the most is about the issue of gender inequality and innovation. Who wants to start? You go first, Margaret?
Okay.
Which ones will you handle?
I can handle how to stay motivated.
Okay.
And I think because that was a common question I could tell from all of them. And I think that is not only in tech, but in anything that you decide to do in life. You just have to, if you truly believe this is what the path that you are on, it doesn't really matter how many challenges you come across. You will wake up and you try again until the day you get it right. And another thing, when it comes to gender equality within the tech space, I think it begins from the time children are young. So when they're in nursery, encouraging also girls to just take up some of those programs that are available. If it is toys, buy your kids, your girls also toy cars. Don't just buy them dolls. You know, let it start from a young age so that even as they grow up, they believe that they can do some of these things. Yeah.
Well, and the reason why I played the statistics that that was shown when we started the show is because of the issue of mentorship.
Yeah.
The space of mentorship. What do you think should be done to ensure that young girls, like you've said, are mentored from a very young age so that more and more women can take up roles in the tech world?
I think it starts with exactly like what we're doing here, right? Because this is a form of mentorship. And women who are in the space being proactive in terms of finding out how can I now go back and talk to these girls, in my free time. So it starts with the women in the field taking a proactive action to try and pass on the baton to the younger girls.
All right.
Yeah.
Over to you, Mary. You want to take the more technical ones?
Now, okay, actually, another question that I had most of them asking is, what is the future of women in tech? And I can say, gone are the days where you walk in a room and you find you're the only woman in tech. Nowadays, we are many. Like you can see some numbers are a bit like we're balancing. So I think the future of women in tech, it's really bright. And we can see so many organizations coming up to support women in tech, and they are really motivated. Actually, I'm part of a company that supports women in tech. Like it's called Kenya Blockchain Ladies. We're even having a meetup tomorrow just celebrating women in blockchain technology. ICP in Kenya, we are supporting like developers, and we're focusing mostly in making women take this part. So we offer free courses, we offer mentorship, we take them in for incubation if they have nice projects, and even fund their projects. So it's like we make it easy for them to move from Web 2 to Web 3 to build their career in tech. Yes.
And like we said, this is a field that is considered largely male-dominated. And I want to ask you a very controversial question. Have you met the bro culture, which is a good word for the locker room mentality? Guys, trying to push an agenda because you're a woman and their opinion matters more than yours.
Yes, but you can't see. They don't rub it on your face. You just, by action, you just feel like, okay, maybe you're working in a company somewhere and you're working in a team. This is something I've experienced. And you find that men, they tend to like do things without involving you. They give you just the small tasks to handle because they think you cannot handle the difficult part and you're still doing the same thing. I mean, you have the knowledge. So they tend to like put it on their side, but they not show it to you in a very slight, hidden way. Yeah, I've experienced that.
Well, over to you, Margaret. Do you have some initiative, or are you collaborating with other institutions to ensure that now the gap in gender equality is reduced when it comes to tech?
Yes, so recently, late last year, I collaborated with a company called Guarantee Schools Expo. So now we are curating these events around technology and education. So event whereby if you have an edtech company, if you have like we had an event over the weekend at the Two Rivers where we had some edtech companies spearheaded by ladies coming to showcase their services at a very subsidized price, because some of the challenges that I underwent as an entrepreneur is how do I get to the market? Because it's expensive, it's difficult, you don't know how to begin. And so now creating a platform where other entrepreneurs can do that, and women being very proactive in seeking out some of these women entrepreneurs, that is my little contribution to that space. So I'm hoping to see where that grows and how that goes throughout the year. Yeah.
Let's go back to one of your greatest moments in the world of tech. You clinched victory in the ICT White Box, that is Strathmore Bootcamp. Yeah. And when I was doing my research, I saw a photo of you.
Among 10 other men.
Yes. How was it like? How do you feel to be there?
I think as Mary said, sometimes you experience imposter syndrome. You're like, why am I here? You know? So, and it takes some time to get used to that environment because it's literally all men. Most trainers are men. And so you'd have that doubt of, am I here because I'm a woman or because I'm capable? But then over time you realize, especially now when you start to build your business and you start to get clients, you're like, oh, I think I'm onto something here. And then now the confidence comes. Yeah.
Mary, any technologies, future technologies you think will be essential for tech professionals, especially in your field, that will be available in your field?
Blockchain.
Blockchain?
Yeah, that is the future. Decentralized, secure, fast. Yeah, I'd say that in short. So like that's what we're actually like pushing here in Kenya as ICP Hub Kenya. And when we have these developers coming to build on the blockchain and they discover how much the blockchain can do, they're amazed. And then there's so much support from companies like the ICP, which are supporting because it's new. People are trying to like see how it's going because if something is new, they have to work on it and keep updating all the time. But now there's support, so it's not like it's much difficult or something. So that's the future, and people can see how it's going to change the future. And I think that's where we're heading to, decentralization.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about strength of a woman. Margaret said that she was seeking solutions to a problem that she personally faced, and that's why she is here. How do you maintain that work-life balance?
It's so funny we were talking about this is sometimes, like she was explaining, being a woman in the field can be difficult, right? If you take a break away, by the time you come back, everything you knew is obsolete and you have to start from scratch. So sometimes balancing is, I feel you can choose seasons where one thing is more important than the other, right? Depending on your family situation. If you have young kids, you can decide to focus on that. But balance is an illusion I think we're all still chasing and hope to find it at some point. But yeah. So, but what I will say is that when you think about it, even before all this career stuff and the modern times, our mothers were balancing.
Okay.
They really were trying to balance, husbands, children, the farm, all those things. So us is just the modern version of that. So sometimes you do your best and you get a support system that can be able to help you. Yeah. You can't do it without a support system at the end of the day. Yeah.
So Mary, I want you to look at your camera, which I believe is that one. And I want you to believe that there's a young girl somewhere watching you and probably envisioning that one day she'll be seated where you are, telling the world about the fascinating aspects of technology. What do you have for them?
That one? Okay, yep. Thank you. So yeah, I'll say just start. For me, my background is in business development. That's what I did in school. But I have learned in technology by myself. I did it online. So I'm a self-taught developer, and I can say there's nothing impossible out there. It was me, my computer, and internet, and I learned, and this is where I am right now. So it's possible. You don't need magic, just a laptop and internet.
All right.
And a will to learn.
And a will to learn.
Yes.
Well, Margaret, your parting shot.
Well, I think for me, my parting shot is that whatever it is that you put your mind to, you can be able to achieve it. So be it tech, be it business, be it whatever it is, just keep focused, and you're going to be just fine. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for finding time. In the interest of time, we have to end it right here.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
I hope
for
we have
having
this
us.
discussion again.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.